7 boxes.
Let ye and I relate properly. Thanks for asking. Now give we the knowledge.
Alrighty, namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. I am Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey here in Morocco at Northwest Maxim, and I'm here with my beloved brother in whom I'm well pleased, and he is
Islam. It is I, Brother Abu Bey. We are about to get into some definitions pertaining to the word police.
Indeed, with my broski doski, yay, right?
Po-po.
I know the po-po, right? And we're gonna really analyze it seriously, right? Without the connotation. We're going straight for all denotation. Alrighty, and let's type POLICE and boom. Alrighty, there we go. So we'll just click on the first one. I'm pretty sure we'll get the noun sense as well as the verbial sense also. I even got Interpol down there. All right. International Police, a contraction in the International Police, the International Criminal Police Commission, founded in 1923 with headquarters in Paris. Right. Looky, Astro Cookie. Police, noun, 1530s. Alrighty, 1530s. So that's, 8 years away from 500 years ago? So let's just say 492 years ago, approximately. The regulation and control pertaining to a community, similar in sense to policy.
Hey, I want to make a statement real quick.
Yes.
And it's probably somewhere in my records. That's not what it always said on this exact same site. It used to say literally policy. And then I noticed the change came in, and then they changed it to similar in sense to policy, but it used to say literally.
Got you. That's why I said, man, we need to crack this open a little further. 1530s, the regulation and control pertaining to a community, similar in sense to policy, the first noun sense, right? From Middle French, police, right? Police, quote, organized government, civil administration, end quote. Late 15th century, which is the late 1400s. From Latin, politia, right? Quote, civil administration, end quote. From Greek, polis, quote unquote, city. See, polis. So let's see policy first. Policy. First noun sense. Quote, and it's in brackets. It's in brackets. It says way of management. It says way of management, bro. Like, wow. It's funny because we know the four corners rule, and when things are in brackets, it's not a part of the actual document. So it's someone trying to manage how things are going. You know what I mean? Right. It's like someone trying to regulate. So way of management. You see that? Way of management. Late 14th century, which is the late 1300s, policier. Quote, study or practice. Study or practice pertaining to government. Good government. End quote. From Old French, policier, 14th century, which is 1300s. Quote, political organization, civil administration, from late Latin, politia. Quote, the state, civil administration, from Greek, politeia. Quote, state, administration, government, This is funny because remember we was looking up federal, state, or municipal yesterday in 19 USC, right? 19 USC 81.0. So state, any state would be any police or any policy,
Mm-hmm.
right? However, they would have to be contracted with those, corporations to be under those uniform codes. Government, citizenship, end quote, from polites, quote, citizen, end quote, from police, city, comma, state, right? See, police, like how the capital, the so-called capital for the Maryland State Republic is Annapolis. So the city of Anna, or Anna's city. Annapolis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So
Anna is like the way up.
Grace. But yeah, something like that. Anna, Hannah, all deals with grace, so to speak, right? So it's like Grace City, right?
I also have I pulled up police in two different books. One is a dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
and one is an etymology dictionary. But one is an unabridged dictionary, so it also has the etymology. All right, so first we're gonna go into the Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. All right. Not story time. We're just looking up a word. Police. Formerly, police, as still in Scotland and Ireland. And then those are the daggers, right? That's interesting. What does the dagger represent again?
Dagger in literary. Just so I could look it up real quick.
That's interesting because when I seen the daggers in the astrological literature, I thought about seeing them before, and I'm like, where did I see them before if I never read this? It was probably
they're to make notes or notations.
I'm gonna read the definition while you look that up. So, as still in Scotland and Ireland, policy, civil organization, Roman numeral 16, civil administration, regulating public order, first with reference to France and to Scotland, where commissioners of police were established by Queen Anne, 13 December 1714. Civil force appointed to maintain public order. Roman numeral 18. The new P was established for London in 1829. French, police. Middle Latin, politia, from Latin politia. See policy, polity, hence policy man, policeman. All right. Roman numeral 19, 1829. Woman, 1853. All right, policewoman or policeman. And then policy right under it. All right, but it's the unabridged dictionary.
Dagger, comma, obelisk, comma, a mark used especially for references. Alrighty, so a marked used. A dagger, obelisk, or obelisk, and this is according to Wikipedia, dagger is called mark. A dagger, obelisk, or obelisk is a typographical mark that usually indicates a footnote if an asterisk has already been used. The symbol is also used to indicate death or extinction. It is one of the modern descendants of the obelus, A mark used historically by scholars as a critical or highlighting indicator in manuscripts. The term obelisk derives from the Greek obeliskos or obeliscos, which means little obelus. From obelus, meaning roasting spit. A spit would be like when you see people like roasting like rotisserie chickens, and that's what the rotisserie chickens are on. That's called a spit.
Yeah.
Right. A double dagger or the aces is a variant with two handles that usually marks a third footnote after the asterisk and dagger. The triple dagger is a variant with three handles and is used by medievalists to indicate another level of notation.
This etymology is pretty long on here. Police, noun. French from Latin, politia, condition of a state. Government, administration. From Greek, politia or politeia, something like that. From politis or politis, citizen. From police, city. Akin to SKR is Sanskrit.
I remember watching some more say some time ago on YouTube that the last police officer was in 1929, and they were referring to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and they weren't saying it in a derogatory way at all. They were just saying like someone who is elected, you know what I mean, to actually, you know, enforce law, not just someone who, that's why, you know, you can look at it too as him being El Hajj Sheikh Sharif.
Right.
So, Ali, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Noble Drew Ali basically established that. So like we were supposed to be having our own stuff.
Basically, and we're supposed to be able to keep the community in standing in good, not go and fill out an application to be some cadet to war against the community by enforcing insurance policy. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, yo, let's really look at police in all the references that we have. And, you know, it really is what it is.
I was just going to finish the brackets. Akin to Sanskrit, Pud, Puda, Pudi, Lith, and Pilis. I have to look at those real quick. Lith.
Where are you at, real quick? Can you point just so I can make sure I'm looking at where you at on the Sanskrit portion? You just point. Okay, perfect.
Okay, gotcha. Right, so we can go back to the top because I know you were looking for some. So this is police, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it says dial or humorous, lease, CF, police.
It looks like some of them would be police. Like they won't even say police, it'll be a police. Like the way certain, or like when you see like that V, which looks like a decrescendo into a crescendo, is like police, like that is like doing the, like, that's how it is in Mandarin. That's what those accents over certain, you know, things that let you know what the actual, it's musical. Mandarin is actually very musical, and it'll let you know if you're supposed to have a sustained pianissimo, which is sustained loudness, or if it's like an accent going down over a character from the left to the right. It's supposed to be E. That's a decrescendo. If it's going from the bottom left to the top right, it's supposed to be E. That's a crescendo. So it's like when I see those things like that, it's like, okay, they're showing you how it's to be enunciated, along with how they're showing you the syllabication also with either hyphens or apostrophes to show the syllabication.
And CF is confer, right? In reference to Latin, compare. They're indicating that you should compare Latin. So let me come back in because I know there was another abbreviation I wanted to look at.
Gotcha.
And then we had lith right down there. Lith, Lith.
Where do you see that?
Lith is right there.
Got you. Is
And
that
then-
like Lithuanian, Belize?
Possibly. I'm about to check the dictionary's abbreviations. Lith is Lithuanian.
Yeah, Lithuanian.
And then the Pilis.
CF is confer or compared to confer, like a conference. So where people come and compare their thoughts. It's funny how policy, the first sentence says sagacity, which has the root sage in it, or diplomacy in affairs. Take your place amongst the affairs of men.
EIL.
I think that's saying that's the Lithuanian enunciation is Belize.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the Sanskrit enunciation is por or por.
Indeed, it's blurring again. All right, so yeah, that's it for this. Well, I guess we can actually read the first definition of one policy, sagacity.
Yeah, sagacity, which is dealing with sage, and a sage is Prophet Noble Drew.
Islam.
You know what I mean? Like the 7 sages. You know what I mean?
Diplomacy in affairs, craft, culture, civilization, social, or group organization, now rare.
The second sentence says the internal organization or regulation pertaining to a standing, a state, a status. The control and regulation pertaining to a community or state through the exercise of the constitutional powers
of government.
Especially such control and regulation with respect to matters affecting the general welfare, general comfort, health, morals, safety, and prosperity pertaining to the military, the public. And see, that's why it's like, you got to really, that first sense I like. The second sense, it starts to get a little hairy once it goes into the public. However, we can look that up in law also. And etymology, by extension, the control and regulation of the affairs affecting the general order, health, etc., as the cleanliness of a camp, of any community, also the organization or system of laws for affecting such control. Right? So in other words, like, we want this to happen, but how are we going to get it to happen? Oh, now we set these rules and regulations so that we can carry it out, like the Code of Federal Regulations, the CFRs. I yield. It's funny how number 4 is saying military. That's what that MIL period is for.
Yeah, that's the military definition of police. So the Department of Government charged with the enforcement of the laws and maintenance of public order, safety, health, etc., having executive, judicial, and in the broadest sense, legislative functions. Now, especially the Department of Government charged with the prevention, detection, and prosecution of public nuisances, crimes, etc. Its powers and functions vary widely in different states, municipalities, and communities. CF is confer, right?
Compared to.
B, the organized body or force of civil officials and officers in this department, especially as a collective. Is that plural?
Yeah, as a collective, plural.
The police officers or constabulary of a town. That's the first time I've seen that word, constabulary of a town, city, or other community. Number 4, military. A, in the United States Army, the soldiers detailed for police duty. B, the act or process of cleaning and putting in order a camp or garrison.
The garrison is where someone would stand post and watch over a certain area.
Combinations are police guarded, police protected, police ridden, police adjective of, pertaining to, or performed by the police, used by or for police. Phrases are police alarm, police boat, police detective, police badge, police chief, police wagon, police baton, police club, police whistle. Police as a verb transitive is police or to govern. 1, to govern, to maintain. Yeah. To maintain law and order in a country. 2, to guard or keep in order by policemen, police boats, etc. To provide with police, as to police a coast constantly or a district adequately. To bring under the control of the civil power, to regulate by law. 4, to make clean and put in order as a military camp.
Every Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, right? However, I know I also have the Wikipedia up also. Here's the Wikipedia on dagger, just to, when people see things in literary presentations or references or things of that nature, there's dagger, right? So as far as the mark is concerned, most people think they're a cross or something like that. But it's like, hey, we use the asterisk, now let's use a dagger. We use one dagger, now let's use a double dagger. Now we use a double dagger, let's use a triple dagger, because scholars would use that to just mark reference points. Alrighty, so that's what that is. All right, so.
Okay, excellent. So I'm glad you brought that back up. So now I can do this real quick. So I can pull this back up with what you have up now, because we can analyze it. Right here, police.
Wow, that's cool. Just because we put it in the chat. So what I'll do is, I guess I could come back here, because I still have a spotlight on you. So, boom. Police, formally, the dagger is, hey, this is a literary reference here. So we're marking that policy, right? So police and policy is the same thing. I mean, police looks like the word policy because it's police with an E at the end of it.
Right.
You know
One
what I mean?
One has a Y.
Yeah, so the Y would be policy if we were to really be, technical, right? And it also has a dagger next to civil organization. And that's XVI is actually 16, right? Civil organization, 16.
And even policy has a dagger next to government.
Right, administration. There's 14, right? And I'm guessing CH would be a charter or a chapter for Gower. That would be good to look up to see what that is too. Prudence in procedure. And most people that are enforcing policy are not prudent one bit.
No, they're definitely not. That's the problem. Like, there wouldn't really be an issue if they were just doing the details of their positions, right, of their duties, but they're extending that. They're extending their jurisdiction, they're extending their authority to unauthorized lengths. That's the problem.
They're doing too much.
They're doing the most.
They're doing the most. All right, so with that being said, then it's like, all right, let's then look at it like we're going to use all these reference points that we have here to bring to the forefront the denotation for police and or policy in terms of good government, good mind rulership.
Right.
So having good mind rulership. right?
Indeed.
So in having good mind rulership, it would make for pertinent comprehension pertaining to the word police and policy, so that, you know, people are clear on what it is and what it is not, so that there doesn't have to be such a negativity in looking at the term as much as us analyzing the sentient beings' behaviors that take position in being, or taking the so-called standing, being ones that are to be sagacious, alrighty, in assisting in, you know, order for everyone, not just public order. We're not speaking on, and it's funny, they go to Queen Anne reference, right? And I said the capital for Maryland is Annapolis, right? So that's very interesting, right? However, we go back to the top there, civil administration, right? Civil organization. So let's just think there. It's like, you know, are we being civil? And if we're being rightly civil in our minds, then what we're actually doing then is we're policing ourselves accordingly. We're allowing ourselves to not be rude to people. You know what I mean? We're not allowing ourselves to be uncivilized.
Islam, that would also mean that the first police is mother and father.
Because government starts with government succinctly starts with family, correct?
Right. So, and then government obviously needs civil organization. So, your mother is the real police.
Period. You know, and to
you ain't talking federal agency.
Mm-hmm.
When I say mother is the official police, because mother's the one that got to set things in order, due to the fact that they got people out here chasing private commercial paper as federal agents. I just wanted to make the distinction that I do not mean that type of police.
Correct. At all, because we're not advocating for people that are extrajudicial and brutal in their practices, where they should be assisting in, you know, organizing the civility and maintaining the civility if someone is out of order, right? However, when it goes civil administration, regulating public order, we know, according to our studies thus far, that public really deals with military overall. Now, we done went through a few definitions already, right? We done looked at the etymology. That was the dictionary. That was the etymology dictionary that you have here. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this one right here is
the Oxford Dictionary of English Etymology. All righty, cool. So now that means I go to share the screen here, go back, I'm gonna go back again, because we were at policy, right? And, you know, a city, state police, like you see, like metropolis, and which deals with basically the Pope or whatever. However, to continue here, from early 15th century to early 1400s, as, quote, an organized state, organized or established system pertaining to government or administration pertaining to a state, end quote. But this sense has gone with polity, right? Has gone with polity. Also from early 15th century or early 1400s as, quote, object or course pertaining to conduct, course of conduct, or the principles to be observed in conduct, and thus, quote, prudence or wisdom in action. Again, most people that are, quote unquote, police or policy enforcers, they lack to show sincere or true prudence, or wisdom in their actions. Generally, but especially, quote, the system pertaining to measures or the line of conduct which a ruler, minister, government, or party adopts as best for the interests pertaining to the country in domestic or foreign affairs. End quote, man. The second sentence. Go ahead.
I would say that the legislators are completely out of line, because like when you like the state legislators, they're the ones that are like out of control because of the fact that the federal government, they create a law, right? And then when they make these laws, you see that they're only for like federal agents and people who work for the government or for the armed and naval forces. But then the state will adopt those laws, but then in their statutes they will define the words differently. Like for example, with the traffic stuff, all that traffic stuff is commercial, but then in the state laws they will put, oh, this extends to non-commercial driver's license. Like there is no non-commercial driver's license. It's all commerce. Like you guys are making definitions and extending the reach of those definitions. And like then the cops get hired and then they enforce those statutes, but they're really enforcing the federal law, but they're enforcing it on people they don't have jurisdiction over as well.
Because the people would still have to agree to be policed like that. They would have to raise those people to sovereign power to be able to administer the civil balance that they're looking to have there. However, every being should be wise or prudent within themselves to have self-control, right?
Yeah.
Policy, the second noun sense, in brackets again, written insurance agreement. And so I said, man, people are out here enforcing insurance policy for the insurance policy for the businesses. They're there to protect and serve the corporations.
Absolutely, and
that's why I said
policy.
the real last police officer, I would say, and I'll yield, is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And anyone that is having Prophet Noble Drew Ali at the forefront of their mind, they are the sincere police, not these corporate policy, insurance policy enforcers. What you say, Ayil?
I was gonna say terroristic, because they harm a lot of people, like physically, even when those people are not a threat.
Correct. 1560s.
In the course of, my apologies, but real quick, in the course of quote unquote enforcing these insurance policies, like in the course of doing that, and you not even knowing, they just told you got to have this so you can do this. So then you went to an office that they told you to go to, and you signed some paperwork, and now they're like, slamming you, dogs on you, all type of stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Islam. So in brackets, Four Corners rule saying, editorially speaking, or this is not a part of the document, written insurance agreement, so you put it in brackets. However, I'm reading it. 1560s, quote, written contract to pay a certain sum on certain contingencies, end quote, from French. What we say, quote, contract, bill of lading, end quote, from late 1300s or the late 14th century, from Italian polizia. Quote, written evidence of a transaction, note, bill, ticket, lottery ticket, end quote, from Old Italian polizia, which, according to the Old English Dictionary, is from medieval Latin apodicea. Quote, receipt for money, end quote, from Greek Apodexis, which is, quote, proof, comma, declaration. Declare and proclaim your nationality. And you better be yourself, because that's the policy. Can you ensure oneself that you that's why I said it's a dual-edged sword, this term police and policy. The sincere police are not ones that are contracted through these corporations and treating people harmfully. All righty? That's demon police. Now, the angel police would be like Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Yeah, the ones who police themselves so that they can be an example for others to do the same.
Apodexis. From apo, off, which is the same as of or away from, off, and deiknai, right? Or deikninai, right? So deiknai, which is to show. So apodexis is to show off. Show off that receipt for money. Cognate with Latin dicere, quote, to say, speak, end quote, from Proto-Indo-European deik, to show. Also, it's like show and tell. So police or policy is show and tell. So they really just supposed to be pointing out and saying, hey, you there, and I'm pointing at.
Yeah, that's what they're doing actually.
However, they're pointing arms at people and shooting them with bullets. That's beyond the policy. Also, quote, pronounce solemnly, period. Also, formerly a form of gambling, the numbers game, by 1830. All right. So interesting to see those, right? So it does refer to these other ones, and I am going to go back, right? I mean, we really don't need to do it, but it says citadel, fort, city, one city, the state, community, citizens, right? So the police, citadel, enclosed space, often on high ground, hilltop, right? And there it goes again. Also, source also of Sanskrit, porum. It's saying it right there, man. There's the Lithuanian right there. You kind of see it faded away. Pilis, right? Fortress. You know what I mean? Like, so even what you read there, bro, it's still there.
Right. I have one more dictionary too. I'll go grab it real fast. It's another etymology dictionary.
Indeed.
See what that one says. Give me 1 second.
In Islam, people be like, we're world citizens. They're saying they're a cosmopolitan. Very interesting. People can go into this and see even more. Until the mid-19th century, so mid-1800s, used in England for, quote, civil administration, end quote, application to, quote, administration of public order, law enforcement in a community, end quote. That means the people would still have to agree to whatever rules or so-called laws or whatever they agreed upon. They would have to agree for it to be enforced. The Barnard's Concise Dictionary of Etymology by Robert K. Barnhart. Excelente. Right? The sense of an organized law enforcement, 1716, is from French, late 17th century, which is 1600s, late 1600s, and originally in English referred to France or other foreign nations. The sense of, quote, an organized civil force for maintaining order, preventing and detecting crime, etc., end quote, is about the 1800s. So that's fairly new. The first force so named in England was the Marine Police. Hey, look at that maritime law show-offs. Set up 1798 to protect merchandise at the Port of London, meaning, quote, body of off-icers, because they're off the ice, they must be hot, off-icers, off, entrusted with the duty of enforcing laws detecting crime, etc. A quote, end quote, is from 1810. So when Prophet Noble Drew Ali says enforce the Constitution, he's telling us to be a body of officers entrusted with the duty of enforcing the law. That's why I said you got angels that are police, and you got demons that are police. If we really want to be sincere about what we're talking about.
He did say enforce the Constitution.
And this is going to lead us to eventually going into what you have there and what's in Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary. In constitutional law, hold on, first let me read this first. It is in its most common acceptation, the police signifies the administration. So this is the common acceptance of people. All right, so they're like, well, we know what the etymology is, but how it's commonly accepted, fuck that. That's what get people in trouble. The police signifies the administration of the municipal so-called laws and regulations of a city or incorporated town or borough by a body or corpse of administrative or executive officers with the necessary. Say that again.
Off their ice.
Yeah, basically, they're not so cool. With the necessary magistrates for the immediate use of force and compelling obedience. Wow. That doesn't sound like so much. It sounds like people's self-determination are taken there. And punishing violations of the laws as distinguished from judicial remedies. As distinguished from judicial remedies by action, etc. What you say, brother?
That would be compelling the obedience to a contract and oath of office. Not compelling obedience to, the little girl that's playing on her bike, the man that's walking to the store, like, these are not federal agents.
Correct. The primary object of the police system is the prevention of crime, which I really think it's like, France has less, people that are injured while behind the wheel intoxicated because there's no limit on their so-called alcohol imbibing, so they don't have as many issues as a system that is there to prevent the issues, and that system in place to prevent the issues is what's making people buck that particular system.
Yeah, and them themselves are adding to the amount of crime.
Correct.
And encouraging it. Like they say prevent the crime, but they'll do something stupid like put a car in the hood with the keys in it so that someone could steal it, so that they can say they got a car thief off the street. Like you're actually motivating criminal. Like people are actually, when you study them, you realize that these people's conditions suck, and their education sucks. This is why they resort to things of this nature. They're not criminals by nature.
Correct. Interesting. The primary object of the police system is the prevention of crime and the pursuit of offenders. But it is also subservient to other purposes, such as the suppression of mendicancy, the prevention of order, the removal of obstructions and nuisances, and the enforcing of those local and general laws which relate to the military, health, order, safety, and comfort. Yeah, because every time I see public, I'm going to see military. I see Title 10 of the United States Code. However, it's from a Century Dictionary, 1895. In constitutional law, police power is the power pertaining to a government to limit civil liberties. That limit? That sounds unconstitutional. And exercise restraint and compulsion over private rights. Yeah, that's unconstitutional.
That whole paragraph is unconstitutional.
Especially to advance or protect the public welfare. See, there's a difference between public welfare and general welfare. Do you see what I'm saying? You see why I don't really rock with public? Because I would like to see either the terms general or common. Other than
because
public.
that's how the people ordained it. They ordained that there's everything that the Constitution was to establish general welfare.
Correct. Because for me, I know a publican is a tax collector. So if a publican is a tax collector, then the public would be those that are taxed. Those that are vampire food.
Yikes.
Animal farm. The chattel.
Ooh, are you talking about animal husbandry?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And these people are the maréchals, right? Those that watch the horses. Because mare or mare is a female horse. So the ones that are watching the horses are the maréchals, the marshals, right? So these people are doing horse watching of their chattel termed public. And the publicans are the ones that are tax gatherers.
And when they all get sick,
or they'll try to create like they're all sick, and they'll tell them, "Hey, all you chattel, get injected like cows,
herd immunity
with these vaccinations."
Right. The vaccines goes back to cow, the vaca, and then they're pushing herd immunity, which is again animals, group of animals. Yikes.
Police state, quote, state regulated by means of national police, end quote, first recorded 1865 with a reference to Austria. Right? That's a reference, Austria, that's funny. Arnold Schwarzenegger's from near that jurisdiction. Police action in the international sense of, quote, military intervention short of war. Ostensibly to correct lawlessness, end quote, is from 1933. Police officer is attested from 1794. Hey, we're getting really that's the oldest date I see so far.
Oh, this is 1716 was up there too.
Say it again.
The 1716 was up there in that first paragraph that you could see.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so 1716. Law enforcement in a community. I said
that's funny because 1716 is the date I got on this book that I'm about to show too.
Interessante, which is 60 years before 1776.
Right.
Sexagesimal measurement. Police station is from 1817. Police dog is from 1908. Now, the verb is, verbial sense, 1580s, to watch, guard, or keep order, to govern, right? So government is to police yourself, police your mind, rule your mind.
Yeah, from master French, your mind.
Go ahead, say it again.
Master your mind.
Islam. From French, policer, from police, see, police, the noun sense we already read. The original sense is obsolete, which means it's no longer in use, is what they're saying. But according to who? According to what? Popular acceptation. The meaning, quote, to control or keep order in by means of police, end quote, is from the 1837. Figurative use by 1885, the year before Prophet Noble Ali manifested. Related policed and policing, right? So I think we kind of exhausted the etymology portion there. Go ahead, bro, and share yours. And then the next time I screen share, I should have Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition up.
All right. Police, noun, 1716. Public order, regulation of a community enforced through commissioners of police. 1714, there's an earlier date. Earlier civil organization. And 1530, police, not differentiated from earlier policy, probably before 1439 and perhaps about 1390. See policy, English police law enforcement, 1730, was borrowed from modern French police, but in its older sense of civil organization was borrowed from Old French police, civil organization. See policy, verb. 1589, implied in policing, keeping order, and borrowed from Middle French policer, from police. Noun, the sense of keep order in by use of a police force, is from 1841, is from later use of the noun in English. An earlier sense of make policies or improve land is first recorded in 1535 in Scottish police force, 1838 police officer.
Man, that policy first sense, man, there it goes again. A way pertaining to management.
Mm-hmm.
And then the art.
Police has the, the negative and positive connotation to it, right? Like, just like I was thinking about the word master, how someone hears master, oh, that's slave talk. But wouldn't you want to be the master of yourself so that no one else is the master of you? So master, the word don't be scared of these words, is what I'm saying, basically, because you've heard it in a connotative sense. Always know what it actually means etymologically and how it is applied at law, so on and so forth.
That's love, bro. That is love. Let's see. Let's go back to sharing the content, right? I will say, man, just to see way of management. It's like, what are you managing here? The people? Did they agree to be managed like that? Like, that's how I'm looking at it. Who agreed to be managed like that? However,
right, it has to be Article 1 within the purview of Article 1, Section 8 type of management, right? Commercial type of management, commerce, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we would have to look at that too. Now we're in Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 316, of course, right? Which is PDF page 1392 out of 1956 pages. Police, the function pertaining to that branch of the administrative machinery of government, which is charged with the preservation of military order and tranquility, the promotion of military health, safety, and morals. See, I don't see public in the Constitution. We may have to go back and look at that, because I don't see public in like the preamble. We the people, in order to form we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, or we the Emperor of Morocco, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of North America Corporation, for the United States of America Corporation, because the people, we the Emperor of Morocco, we do ordain and establish these things, right? So this is our thesis statement before we went into, okay, so this and that and that, and this and that is what we're, lining out here. So this is the policy that we're lining out here for foreigners here on our land with just solely status, and those of us with just jus sanguinis status are really setting the rules. Hey, you can't put your feet on our coffee table, stuff like that, right?
Precisely.
So go ahead.
Precisely. Islam,
the promotion of the military health, safety, and morals, and the prevention, detection, and punishment of crimes. That's State versus Hine, right? And there's the rest of that in People versus Squire, and the rest of that case law there. The police pertaining to a state, and agreed upon group that says, hey, yeah, we raise you guys a sovereign power to look over our things. In a comprehensive sense, embraces its whole system of internal. Look at that, internal regulation. Again, people should have common sense and self-control, by which the state seeks not only to preserve the military order and to prevent offenses against the standing or the mind state mindset, but also to establish for the intercourse, which is communication, pertaining to citizens with citizens, those rules of good manners and good neighborhood, which are calculated to prevent a conflict of rights and to ensure, there's insurance again, to ensure to each the uninterrupted enjoyment of his own. So that's why, as long as you don't encroach upon someone else's right, you have the right to do what you need to do. So you're automatically always policing yourself if you're competent and civil.
Right, you're either policing yourself or you're not policing yourself, which essentially is you're still policing yourself. You're just doing a shitty job.
Correct. Which then someone else is going to think, hey, this motherfucker's left his mind, hasn't regained his lost estate that can't be told in words. So now we're going to do what we do to have status, jurisdiction, and adjudicating upon them. Like that's a no. So far as is reasonably consistent with a like enjoyment of rights by others, and that's in the Cooley's Constitution, I wonder if that's constitutional limitations, and it's given an asterisk for I think page 572. We can check that const.lim. To just be sure, because I'm pretty sure it's at the end. What page is this again? 1392. And let's just look at this real quick. Let's find what it says about coolies. I'm going to probably say coolies constitutional limitations, but let me not assume. Right? Looking for const lim, right? So there's coolies. I was right. Coolie on constitutional limitations is right there. All right. So back to 1392. All righty. It is defined by Jeremy Bentham in his works, quote, police is in general a system of precaution, either for the prevention of crime or of calamities. Its business may be that's why when they run people off the road and they were like, where's your license and insurance and register? Like, they really big on the insurance thing because they're insurance policy enforcers.
Yo, I just thought about something. So like one who doesn't police themselves, right, or who does like a not so good job of policing themselves, they might run around saying things like "fuck the police."
Basically, you know,
they don't care about policing themselves or about others trying to police them.
Or they're a monkey with attitude, right? They're a nigger with attitude.
So wow, yeah, Islam.
Right? That's NWA, right? Its business may be distributed into 8 distinct branches. 1, police for the prevention of offenses. 2, police for the prevention of calamities. 3, police for the prevention of epidemic diseases. So that means Fauci and fucking Gates.
I missed that last part. What did you say?
The number 3, police for the prevention of epidemic diseases.
Oh wow, yeah, Islam.
Fauci and Gates.
They
were the epidemic disease prevention police. But they created a problem that didn't exist. It's like, hey, let's stir up some fear, cause these people to go get vaccinations, and slowly but surely they'll die off. That's why there's a quote unquote recall now. 4, police pertaining to charity. 5, police pertaining to the interior. So police of interior communications, right? 6, police of military amusements, public amusements. 7, police for recent intelligence. And 8, police for registration. Right?
Wow.
canal commoners. I'm going to say canal commoners versus Williamette Transportation Company, right? It's funny too. Our video yesterday for our impromptu improv was 2 hours and 22 minutes, and there it goes, letting you know right there. I think that's Oregon 222. 6 Oregon 222.
Oh wow! Question: did you look up police in the etymology dictionary that you have in the drive, the 1872?
We can. Why not? Let's fucking do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Let's do ET.
I got it pulled up in front of me already too. So.
ETY.
It's a very short definition, actually.
Really? You got it like on, you ready for screen share?
Yeah, if you want.
All right, hell yeah. I mean,
not
if you
screen
already got it.
Not screen share, but just video.
Oh, okay. I was going to let's do the screen share so we can just bring it right up. Oh, right. Okay. That's not bad. That doesn't look bad what you got there either. So yeah, let me do that. Go right ahead. And that's in the drive, you say, correct?
Yep, the 1872.
Yeah, the etymology. Okay, got you. The Dictionary of Etymology, 1872. Police, policy, politics. From Greek. I can read that Greek, right? Because look, I'm going to tell you what that is. That says police. You can see it. That's pi, omicron, lambda. What's I? I forgot what I is. And I know the last one is sigma, the final sigma. What is I in Greek, man? Iota. So pi, omicron, lambda, iota, sigma. And it reads just like fucking English if you just know it. P for pi, O for omicron, L for lambda, I for iota, or I for iota. And that actually looks like an S, but that's the final sigma. It's like 3 different sigmas. You have the capital sigma that looks like an E in the beginning. Then you got a middle sigma that looks like that O, but it has like a little latch or like a piece of hair coming off of it. Almost looks like freaking Mars a little bit without the arrow. And then the final sigma, it looks like that. Looks like an S. Looks like almost like a C, but with that, bottom hook to it, almost like, the C in like when people see it in French or whatever. But Greek, police, that's exactly what that is. Pi, omicron, lambda, iota, sigma. A city. Yeah, a city. We have
policing or polices.
Hold on. That is pi, omicron, lambda, iota. What is that omega? No. Tau? Is it tau? And then that N is eta. Eta. It's not an N, it's eta. So that's a TES. So that's a politis. So that's politis. Because that N looking letter is a eta, ETA. So, and then sigma. So I'm just going off of my memory right now. I don't have it in front of me. But pi, omicron, lambda, iota. I'm going to say tau. I think that's tau. I might be off. Eta, sigma. A citizen, which is politicos, right? Pi, omicron, lambda, iota, tau, lambda. Tau, iota. What is the K? What is the chi? I think they call that chi. Chi, and then another omicron, and then sigma. Belonging to a citizen, politie, right? And again, that's pi, omicron, lambda, iota, tau. What is E? What is the E looking one, man? It's not eta, because eta I already said is that N joint. See, this is when I go into the go back to the degree section in Encyclopedia of Astrology and go to degrees, right? And when I go to degrees, I will find what that is. So give me 1 second. That is epsilon. Goodness gracious, I couldn't remember that shit. It is epsilon. And the T is tau. Okay, good. Okay, so epsilon. Yeah, and I was right about eta. So that's epsilon, right? Okay, so cool. Let me come back to you. And so, yeah, that's pi, omicron, lambda, iota, tau, epsilon, iota, alpha, right? Whence Italian, and whence means from the time of Italian, or like during the time of Italian, or from the Italian. That's what whence is. Whence it, Italian polizia, French police, citizenship, administration, government. Policy is a policy pertaining to assurance, is a written engagement to make good a certain sum. Look at that, man. That's still insurance, because that's what we read earlier. A sum on the occurrence of a specified contingency. Italian, polizza. A bill, which is, we said, a bill of lading or schedule. Polizza di carico, a bill of lading. There it is again, a document which it was necessary to produce on praying, petitioning, which is applying for the money assured on goods lost at sea. The word is a violent corruption of Latin, politica, or politicum. A pair of tablets. Look at that. What, when Moses went to go speak to the burning bush? A pair of tablets folding on each other, used as a memorandum. Look at that. Book, memorandum book, was called diptycha or diptychum, from diptychos, which is that right there, which is delta, iota, pi, tau. I think that's upsilon, right? I think that's upsilon. Let me make sure I'm right on that. Yes, that is an upsilon or upsilon, right? And again, that's from Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore, page, when you go and look at degrees, that's on page 91, PDF page 52 out of 224. So yes, that's delta, iota, pi, tau, upsilon. That's another chi. Let me make sure I had that first chi correct. That looks like K. Pardon me, that was kappa. I was wrong about that K earlier. That's kappa, and that X
PDF?
is chi.
What's the PDF page? I want to mark that real quick.
The PDF page, 52, 5 on the left, 2 on the right, out of 224, for the Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas DeVore. Yeah, there you go, right there. That's right there, right under your finger. Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Oh,
Yep.
I'm so good. All right, 52. I can't forget that. All right, cool. Thanks.
Right. Excellent. All right, so back to what you got there. Right, so yeah, that's delta, iota, pi, tau, upsilon, chi, spelled CHI, omicron, sigma, right, and twofold. So that means so diptychos, or diptychos, right? In the Greek. That's why I said, Greek is actually one of the easiest languages to learn, bro, because it's so close to alphabet. I mean, so close to our alphabet, which is where you get alpha, beta from in the Greek. So it's like, really, we're kind of speaking a derived Greek almost. Sort of, kind of, in my opinion. The term was then applied in ecclesiastical language to the catalogs of the bishops and other notables of a church whose names were read at a certain period of the service. When the list was too long to be contained in a pair of tablets, again, that's that Moses shit, the additional tablets gave a memoranda the name of politica instead of, what was it again with the D term?
Politicum.
It was diptycha, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
So diptycha means two tablets, where politica means many tablets or many things typed. So two types or two tablets is diptycha. Politica is many types or many tablets, right? A term specially applied to the registers of taxes. There's that publican shit again. See, I'm telling you, bro.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Politicos, id est, because IE is Latin for id est, or in the example. Breves or brevis tributi et actiones, which means basically a brief of tributes and actions, or tributes and actions, which I'm pretty sure that's what that freaking means. It's Latin, but if we looked it up, which is brevis, breves tributi et actiones, right? Or glossae ad I think that would be codificos theodius. I'm thinking, which is a glossary of the God code, like basically, right? Ut illi colinitam fiscalis quam et ecclesiastici cui sicut et in politicus continentur et ipsi non denegent or denegent caropera et manopera. So this is an edict of, I think that says Carlos, but which is Charles of Calvert in what, Duquesnes probably, who knows. Reditis villarum nostrarum, which means something about we of the village, maybe, of writing. So reditis villarum nostrarum de scribir usit quod politicum vocant. Okay, so many tablets spoken, something like that. The term then appears in the corrupted form of politicum, polegium, episcopus, divino concilio usus, politicum, quod adhuc in idem ecclesia reservator scripsit. And I guess that's, I need to see what that DUC is again. They probably got a glossary there. A similar corruption converted dipticus into diptagus, diptitius. That's interesting to read too, bro. And I'm glad you brought that up. That is in our library. And that makes us brush up on our Greek and our Latin, which also is in the encyclopedia, like I told you, in the Encyclopedia of Astrology. When you go and look at the stars, bring that up again, since you did have that up. Since you got the Encyclopedia of Astrology by Nicholas Dvorak, and that way I can, take you through it real quick. Right?
My apologies. I was talking. I had the mute. I was gonna say, is it possible you could screen share? Because I'm at.
Oh yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. So I'm gonna show you, just like how right there in the Dictionary of Etymology 1872. If you look here, let me go and do the screen share content. Right. Start the broadcast 3, 2, and 1. Right. And like I said, I know we're going to get started a little later on our AstroLiteracy Comprehension Conference. But I mean, I'm just going to show you just one. Okay, let's just go with the first fixed star that we see here, right? Diptha, right? If you actually look at this, the term diptha is Arabic, and then you have beta, so there's the Greek, and then you have Ceti, which is telling you that Diptha is the second brightest star in the constellation Cetus, Cetus, right? So even in astronomy, 3 languages are preserved and 4 are being used. First of all, we're seeing, 5. We're seeing the language of mathematics. That's 1, right? Because we're seeing numbers here. So it's 5 languages we're seeing right here. 1 is mathematics. The second one, Diptha, is Arabic. Beta is Greek, and Ceti or Keti is Latin, and then there's English to give you what it means. So that's 5 languages, and all you're looking at is the 3rd entry under Aries at 1 degree 14 minutes, which is where it was appeared to be from our perspective here on the Earth plane Asha in 1925. Right? So now it will probably be roughly at like 40, hold on, 21, 45, 46, maybe like 2 degrees, 46 minutes. Right now, we will probably see it at 2 degrees, 46 minutes in Aries, the fixed star Diptha, which is 20 degrees, 48 minutes south, right, of the equator is what it's saying there, right? And Diptha is the Arabic term. It's saying that its magnitude is there denoted by the Greek letter beta, and it's near the constellation, which is in Latin, Ceti or Ceti, a yellow star in the whale's tail, because Cetus is the whale, which has the front half of its body is a whale and the second half is the goat, which is why Capricorn's top half is the goat and the second half is the whale's other half. That's why it says the whale's tail. That's not a tail. That's a goat's other half, which leads you back to Veritas so that you can see how you're bringing together both Capricorn and Pisces, sort of, kind of, because Cetus stretches from not only, I think, tropic Pisces, but also tropic Aries also. So you're bringing the solstitial color together with the equinoctial color. So it's just like there's beauty in us studying this because we get to see it full circle.
Indeed.
So go ahead. What you say?
No, I kind of enjoy the fact that it's forcing you, if you want to comprehend it, to expand your understanding of additional languages. I think that's good.
It's funny too how we were looking at police and we were talking about how they're demon police that use like brute force. And look, we're looking at this fixed star, the second brightest star in the whale constellation called Diptha, and it says it has a nature of Saturn, Mercury, and Mars, and then sickness, misfortune, compulsory changes, compelling people to obedience, self-destruction by brute force. And this is not, we can't make this up, man. We can't make up the energy of how this is flowing, bro. I could have picked any other fixed star, bro, on any other page. You know what I mean? Just to go in with what we're talking about with police here. However,
what is the name of the fixed star?
Diptha.
Diptha. Okay.
Diphda. Diptha. Right? And we're here. Boom. The term police, quote unquote, has also been divided into administrative police, which has for its object to maintain constantly public order, to maintain constantly military order in every part of the general administration, and judiciary police, quote unquote, which is intended principally to prevent crimes by punishing the criminals or the criminals. Its object is to punish crimes which the administrative police has not been able to prevent. So the judiciary police is to punish crimes that the administrative police could not prevent. Case law, Green versus City of Bennettsville. Police court. Man, I feel like we should leave people to do their own research, man, because they got access to this stuff and should read it themselves. My whole point, though, was us looking at the fact that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the last police officer, right? That's the point I was getting to, right? Yeah. And then there goes the stuff about police power and all that. So am I saying, because what I've seen in some of my early studies, people saying Prophet, the last police officer was in 1929. So I'm thinking, okay, then they're referring to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They're saying that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is one of the staff of minds. One pertaining to the staff. Right, that's the spine, right? The caduceus, Kundalini rising up, pertaining to minds employed. Somebody had to raise them to sovereign power in cities and towns, right? Employed, right? In cities and towns, like man, that just makes me think of people that were so-called military and they were on some ops and never left off the land. I said one more time.
Where's where are you reading at? I don't see the word city.
Cities, CITIES.
You said in cities and towns. I don't see that.
Am I still screen sharing?
Are you sharing police power?
Police officer.
Oh, the first one. Okay. Oh,
One
okay,
of this, yeah. So one pertaining to the staff of mines, right? Staff pertaining to mines employed in cities and towns to enforce the municipal police. So in other words, we're keeping other beings in order.
Well, they're saying i.e.
That is, or the municipal policy, that is, the laws and ordinances for preserving the third principle. And good order pertaining to the communication unity or the common unity, otherwise called police mind.
I would like you to pull up a quick definition of express, because
you said, hold on, bring up the etymology on what term?
The word express. And the reason for that is because they said something about preserving peace. And I know that some peace is something that has to be created from within. And so the people themselves have to be peaceful, so that the outer expression of that will be peaceful. So peace can be witnessed, peace can be experienced in the outside reality only when everyone is peaceful within. So when they speak on preserving peace, right? Express is
I'm just looking to see what we got here. All right. I yield to you, brother. Go ahead. I yield. The first verbial sense is right there.
Express is late 14th century, represent in visual arts, put into words, from Old French expressor, press, squeeze out, speak one's mind. So literally to press out, if you look at the third line, literally to press out. So it's something coming from within, being pushed or pressed or squeezed out. So like I said, all human experience is generated from within. So when you're peaceful within, it will only make sense that you will express that, it will come out, you'll see it on the outer end. So for them to preserve peace, then they have to know that the people, right, in general, have to be peaceful within themselves. So they're claiming that they're trying to enforce things, right? And this is the demon police. They're claiming that they're trying to enforce something in order to preserve peace, but at the same time, they're creating situations and circumstances where in the people's mind, they do not feel peace when they come into interactions with these so-called policemen. They do not feel safe. They do not feel these things within. Therefore, it's like a never-ending thing. They're always going to be policing, and the people are going to be in a state unless the people begin to correct their positions. I just wanted to
like it.
You know, we're talking about preserving peace, and that comes from within. That doesn't come from somebody enforcing anything. See what I'm saying?
Correct.
So it starts not only at home, but since they're claiming, they're setting up these institutions like these schools, these places of learning, allegedly. Why are these children not understanding how to be peaceful within themselves by the time they get older? They get less and less peaceful. Federal agency got them stressed out.
Wow. I'm just looking at all this, man. Express, adjectivally, right? Stated explicitly, not implied, clearly made known.
Express yourself.
And again, that's a declaration.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly made known.
Right.
Clearly made known. Right? Man, this is beautiful, bro. I mean, can we end here and then pick back up within, I guess, the next 2 hours and 53 minutes for our AstroLiteracy Comprehension Conference?
Islam, bro. Sounds like
Man,
a plan.
this is excellent.
Islam, do your thing, bro. Peace
Indeed, beloved brother. I appreciate you, brother Ara. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love. Peace, bro. Oh, I gotta claim host again.
Listen, it's always competition. Opposition still couldn't stop the vision. Compliment the truth and get back to business, cause our position is that can only be true. Developmental stages and phases.